Whoa, that needs talking about. Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome to EnterElysium Reacts to Kerbal Space Program 2. So, those of you who know the channel might remember Kerbal Space Program 1, little known game, hardly anyone played it, and it was all about awesome space travel, and I may have used it for other things, including space travel, but I may have recorded a few videos on it. And I thought it might be a good time to look at the actual trailer and have a reaction / break it down and see what's new in Kerbal Space Program 2. So obviously the trailer is pre-rendered footage, it's not in-game footage, so it's not going to look this pretty. It's not by Squad anymore, it's by Star Theory. Squad weren't ever really a developer, they were a marketing company who happened to make a game, so this time maybe we'll have a few less bumps in the road. But yeah. Looking at this, you'll recognize, like, straight away, those landing legs, those boosters, little monopropellant tanks, all of this looks like Kerbal Space Program 1, so obviously they know what they're doing. These solar panels look a little bit different, though. Now, not to say that any of these modules are definitely going to be in the game, but the fact that they've got them in the trailer suggests, considering some of the stuff is definitely from Kerbal Space Program 1, that some of these might actually end up being in the game. Landing legs flip out, pretty standard. The actual monopropellant tanks are now silver rather than white in that shot. I don't know whether it's just an aesthetic change or actually a change that they're designed. We actually have Kerbals still, and Kerbals falling off. This little bit here, by the way, this pleases me so much, because this means they actually get what Kerbal Space Program is about. It's not just about, you know, going to space and landing a ship. It's about crashing a ship and Kerbals derping. Because if you watch the background, boop, they get KSP. Now, that's obviously Kerbin, like, it's the same Kerbola system. Building your rocket, pretty standard. They've actually revamped the entire assembly process, apparently, to make it easier for first-timers. Pretty. You've got the coolant falling off there, and smash. Yep, they get it. Jet. That looked like a pretty awesome jet. Let's have a quick look at that. A little bit back. Let's see if we can actually see any details on that jet. There we go. Fins look familiar. Wings look a little bit familiar, but that cockpit? Is that the Mark 1 cockpit, or is that a change? Now, by the way, throughout this you'll see that the colors, all of this is yellow. Later on you'll see all of it is red, all of it is blue. I'm wondering if you can actually pick the color for your space agency, or maybe for each individual plane. Because the color seems to vary a lot. In KSP you had one solid color. It was always that red for astronauts throughout. Some of the popular mods involve changes to that. That's an ejection module, we've seen that before. This here, this is one of the really popular mods, or at least there was a mod that did this, which is effectively like a ring habitation module, so it could generate artificial gravity. This is a big thing in this shot, right? They aren't hiding this or anything. This is a, you know, pretty obvious thing. I'm wondering if this is actually going to be in the game. I really, really hope so. And I wonder if that does mean that they're going to include some sort of recreational need for Kerbals, or maybe even, you know, a need in terms of like food and stuff like that. They didn't in the base game. You had to mod that in, and recreation was never really particularly well modded in. That was always one of those things that was a bit iffy, but I really hope that's a thing now. You can see again, this is all orange, which makes me think you can change your color. The space plane, all standard parts, but look at this. This plate here, this looks like a radiation shield for a radiation generating engine, which might be like a fusion drive, or possibly an Orion, a nuclear pulse propulsion jet. We'll have a quick look. Right, this, very familiar, Mark II cockpit, Mark II bays. Right, in the background there, Colonies. Apparently colonies are now a thing, and look at these look like habitation modules that inflate. We saw them in a few of the mods, just like we had that ring in actually a few of the mods. We've also got mining storage over here, possibly, along with a communication dish. They've said that colonies in space are going to be a thing, and you have to upgrade them, build them, and eventually you can launch rockets from them. Again, there were mods to this in KSP, again, there are mods for everything in KSP 1, but in 2, this looks really interesting, the fact that they're going to actually make it so that you can mine certain things and maybe even advanced things, unique fuel types is what they say on their actual website that you can't get on Kerbin, which means you've got a purpose to go here, do the thing, build a colony, you have to refuel it, build structures, space stations, habitation, and then you can get all that really cool stuff. Doesn't look like you land stuff. Now in KSP1, most times you built a colony, you landed something, and that was your colony. This looks more like it was built here. Like, look at the structural pylons digging into the ground, and the fact there's like a ramp. That feels more like you actually just build in situ rather than building a thing and dumping it on the ground, which obviously is far better, because if you dump it on the ground, you've got this weird friction happening with the object on the ground, and it can get complicated. This looks like it's more built to be there. Which makes me also wonder, are you going to be able to build anywhere? Because certain sites only would be a little bit iffy. I prefer anywhere. Also, look at the banks of solar panels here. That's really neat. Rovers. Awesome. Notice that these little triangular resource crates appear in quite a few things. So I'm suspecting we'll get that. Whoa! That needs talking about. This is an Orion drive. Project Orion, nuclear pulse propulsion. This tiny little dot here is where the nuke drops out. It explodes behind. This plate shields the actual vessel. And then the pistons, it gets pushed back and pushes the vessel along. You basically drop a load of nukes behind you. Quite a lot of you will know about this because you're science nerds like me. This is awesome. And this is actually a technology in the game. One of the things they've got in the game they've talked about is advanced next-gen tech. So, you know, Orion drives and even what looks like a fusion drive we'll see later on. That's a fuel tank, a load of monopropellant, a chair. That's classic Kerbals for you. That is absolutely classic Kerbals right there. I just love that. I like that was included. Jewel's looking fancy. Obviously not actual, you know, in-game footage, but it looks pretty. Here you can see 4 of those little habitation things, along with a little jet, big refinery setup going on, like big circular resource things. This makes me think that like, space collecting of resources is actually going to be really important. I'm really looking forward to that. This here, though, we'll see this in a second. That looks to me like some sort of fusion drive. Like ejecting a pellet of deuterium and then blasting it with lasers and using it like a fusion drive. I think this is a fusion drive, and I think it's designed for FTL travel. Now, in KSP2, you can go to other solar systems. I don't really know how that's going to be implemented yet, whether you have to wait a while, and it's going to be a very long journey, which, you know, in KSP1 you'd assume so, because, you know, you start moving and it takes a long time. You have to accelerate time to get there. But this suggested that this is one of the FTL capable craft, the next gen techs. Those Kerbals really shouldn't be there. That's not good. Okay, back up a little bit. These 2 planets, these are not in the Kerbal system. This is a different solar system entirely. This could be Rask and Rusk, a binary pair locked in a dance of death. They've mentioned a few things about solar systems outside Kerbin, and this could be it. An actual binary. We never really had a binary. I don't think Kerbal Space Program actually supported binaries. I don't think it supported anything with a Barry center outside the dead center of a planet. But it looks like we actually have a proper binary according to their website, and this could be it. I'm really looking forward to that. More smashing stuff, because Kerbal Space Program. Danny's going to be really pleased. Rings. I really hope the rings are a thing. That's making me really, really happy. I really hope you can do something with the rings. And there we go. Demonstrating the whole building of your colonies with recreational facilities, habitation facilities. I'm guessing recreation. Again, look at the helmets. They're now blue. And stuff falling over. The communication dish, by the way, you'll see a lot of these colonies have communication dishes. I don't know whether that's just a choice of them for aesthetic reasons or whether communication's actually going to be a thing. You know, Kerbal Space Program 1 introduced that, and there was a remote tech mod, which meant you needed that for probes and stuff. I really quite like that mod. So whether that's going to be a thing or not, we don't know. launch pads, launching rockets. They've said you can eventually launch rockets from Colonies, which is really cool. And this is definitely outside the Kerbal system. So, yeah. And they get the litho-breaking joke, so it pleases me that they've managed to make that a relatively on-point trailer, like they know what they're talking about. So let's have a quick look at their website, because there are a couple of things here. For instance, these are actually really look like in-game screenshots. So you can see that we've got trees. Whether they'll be collidable, I don't know. They weren't in KSP1, and they were more just a diffuse. They're everywhere. But that's a whole load of trees relatively near the launch pad. We've also got Duel. So that looks familiar. But look at this. This looks like an Orion drive with the nuclear pulse propulsion. There's the explosion, there's pusher plate, there are hydraulics, which means that you've got a load of new stuff up here. I wonder if these are opening canisters, because it looks like 3 different canisters here, and they could be life support, because there was a mod like this where you had little things that could open. It could just be science or something inside, though. And you've also got this, which I'm guessing is fuel or something. Here, Colony, again, you'll see that we've got a big object here that doesn't look like that was flown there. That looks like that was built there. You've got actual proper little, I think that's the launch pad at the top. Satellite. Looks like habitation down there. Over here, there's a fusion drive, and it's right next to interstellar travel. So that makes me really think that the fusion drive is that first tech to go interstellar. You could maybe do it with an Orion drive, but we'll see. Orion drive is listed next to next generation technology. So, and of course, multiplayer and modding. I kind of wish they put them separately, because modding for me was always a massive thing. But I know that that's, you know, even if we're talking and you might be going, oh yeah, of course I modded KSP. The vast majority of people never mod a game. It just has to be said. A lot of people did, though, for KSP, even if it wasn't the vast majority. So it makes me happy at least that they're definitely going to be doing modding. They're actually make it more moddable, they say. KSP1 was pretty moddable, so we'll see what more moddable means. Note that the color over here, black on the astronauts now. I really think that you can change the color by the way they're doing this. Like over here, lots of orange, black there. I'm guessing black here, black strips there. And then we go, little bays that can open. And multiplayer. Multiplayer. It's going to be a thing. Launching 2020. It's going to be on PC, and it'll be on consoles after PC, because they're making it for PC. So that makes me happy, at least. Other than that, they've said that there's Ovin, a ringed super Earth with relentless gravity, which is obviously a note to, what's it called? Real scale mod, the KSP real scale mod, when you had Kerbin that was 4 times the size and 4 times the gravity, and you had to build ridiculous rockets to get off, more like real life rockets almost. That's a massive note there. Like they've looked at the game, they've looked at the mods, and they've made a lot of nods to it, which I really hope they do life support and stuff, because that's a mod that I always included. One note is they have said that there's going to be, let's see if I can find it, improved onboarding. Like, KSP could always be a bit intimidating to new players. You always had to go to a YouTube video, which, hey, I'm not complaining, you know, personally, but you did. And they're saying now that, you know, it's going to have much improved tutorial, much improved UI, etc., to be able to help new players out, which, hey, I'm really pleased about. I always think that the more accessible the game, the better. I know some people say, oh, why bother? You know, people go to YouTube. I prefer if people can actually just learn in the game. And YouTube's not for everyone in terms of learning styles. So, you know, whatever floats your boat. I want it. I want it. Yeah, but I'm not one to get particularly hyped, so I guess I'll want it in 2020, or one that will give it to me. Can you give it to me earlier? I've been EnterElysium. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you've spotted anything that I missed in the video, because I might have missed something. If I have, point it out in the comments down below, and I'll be interested to read it. You know, do the like and subscribe stuff, because apparently you need to on YouTube. And until next time, stay shiny.